Ladies and gentlemen, the Pittsburgh Steelers are 3-0.
3-0?
To start off the season, they were undefeated 2-0 Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers are now 2-1. The Steelers win their first home opener since 2020.
Wow.
20-10 against the Chargers.
And they win in very good fashion. I want to say dominant fashion, but it sure was dominant towards the end of the game, man. When the game was too close, they said, you know what, this is way too close for comfort. Let's execute these guys. And that they did. Once Calvin Austin got that catch in the middle of the field and used his speed and his yak ability to get in the end zone, it was over for the Chargers. It was over.
The whole second half was a major adjustment from both sides of the ball, from the offense, from the defense, from the play calling, from Justin Fields.
It was beautiful.
It was a lot better.
It was so beautiful.
Because the first half, not a whole lot happened in the first half. It was very conservative. It was very slow. Danny was saying that they were warming up a little bit, which they pretty much were.
Like
it was heavily defensive.
We had another very slow start, which is to no one's surprise. Shout to Turk with a 5.
Turk says, appreciate hanging with the Steel Twin fam today. Turk, we appreciate you, brother.
We appreciate all you guys for watching us during the live stream, during the live reactions, for expressing and sharing our emotions. This is a roller coaster of emotions type of game. Especially in the first half, like I was saying, like the first half, or the first to start the game off, the offense started slow, to no one's surprise. But they were warming up as the game went on. Justin Fields got us into the red zone. Huge play by Scotty Miller to get us in position as well. Justin Fields with a read option, runs it in for a touchdown. And then to close out the game, man, he hits Calvin Austin. And Calvin Austin does the rest. Calvin Austin goes up.
55-yard touchdown.
And Calvin Austin led the team in receiving, man. Career highs. 4 receptions, 95 yards, and 1 touchdown.
Austin stepped up. He came up big. I think Van Jefferson got injured with an eye injury. I think after that, we didn't see him at all in the game.
And that led to more opportunities, more targets for Calvin Austin, for Scotty Miller. And they made plays, man.
Pat Frymuth, he even got involved.
Shout out to Evil. Evil with a 10, man. We appreciate you, bro.
He says, I don't say much, but it's cool hanging out with everyone. Great win.
What a great win. And I do feel confident saying that. This was a great win. There were some mistakes. There were some first-half errors from both sides of the ball.
It was very reminiscent of last week and the week before that, the first 2 games, and even last year's. It was very reminiscent, very conservative. Second and Najee's, a toss on a 2nd and 18. Like, I was not a fan of that.
I'll even say some of the red zone play calling was a little too conservative for me. It was just too predictable. The tosses to Najee were just... I just felt like they left points off the board.
I want to see less of that. I get them warming up. I get it's still early, week 3, but, we're heading into a month into football already. I feel like the warming up aspect, I feel like that shouldn't be an excuse anymore.
No, but I feel like they are really starting to gain some momentum, man. And speaking of gain momentum,
I think that starts with the quarterback, dude.
Justin Fields is the quarterback 1. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how healthy Russell Wilson is, whenever that is.
Justin Fields has done nothing to be benched.
Nothing.
He's done nothing wrong. He threw an interception to Bud Dupree of all people.
Shout out to Josh with it, too. Says 3-0 Fields good. Let's do it again next week. We got the Colts next week, man.
Yes, sir, Josh.
We're riding with some momentum.
But Fields, this game, his accuracy is on point. It has improved so much since him being a Bear.
Not just his accuracy, but his pocket presence and the way he reads defenses. He was going through a ton of reads. He was going through his progressions. And he hit guys in stride. He was dotting today, dude. He had another great game. He threw it, 32 times? He completed the ball for 25 times? 245 passing yards. He did throw a pick in the second half. Thankfully, the defense didn't allow anything. And I'll say that was his only mistake, was that interception.
Yeah.
I felt like he hit Patterson too low. I feel like he should have hit Patterson away from Dan Henley, who was in coverage, which would have prevented the pick. But other than that,
outside of that, Fields was on point.
Fields was perfect today.
Fields, again, he did his job as the backup, but I would say he absolutely did more than that. He played like a starter.
Because he is.
And I feel like week by week, that confidence is building up. He's getting that chemistry going with the offense, with Arthur Smith's playbook, his scheme.
He's leading this offense to some success. 2 touchdowns today. 2. We had 1 the last 2 games. We got 2 today. Could have had 3. Could have actually had more because there were times they were in the red zone and they only settled for field goals. So that is still a little bit of a mistake. That's still a little bit of an error from the offense is sometimes they just can't finish. They could have won this game by a lot more if they just stopped leaving points off the board. But when they had to do their job, when they had to execute, when they were able to get down the field, I will say this, they did score points. Every time they were in the red zone today, they scored points. I can't take that away from them. And that is a positive. I would hope that they would clean up and finish some drives and the play calling wouldn't get too conservative in those areas. But they were able to get down there. They were able to get points off the board. They once again won time of possession. How many yards did they have in the second half, man? They had over 300 total to finish the game. I think that's the first time this season the Steelers offense has had over 300 yards of total offense.
I'll tell you what, rushing-wise, there was no impact in the first half. I think they had a total of 3-something rushing yards.
Najee alone had 3.
Yeah. That might be what it been. I think they barely had 10 yards rushing altogether.
They didn't have a lot. They couldn't get anything going. But in the second half, they got a running game going. Najee finished with 70 yards. Cordell Patterson saw some time towards the end of the game. He was able to help pretty much finish this game out, close it out, get first downs, few shot to him. Jalen Warren didn't get enough playing time. I don't know if he's hurt again. That's my concern. If Patterson was getting playing time towards the end, that kind of tells me Warren's hurt. That scares me.
Yeah.
But at least we know we got a stud in Patterson to step up, a vet when we need to. That's a positive. I hope Warren's okay, and I hope he gets some playing time going forward.
Yeah, but Patterson did good in the running game, late into the game. Najee bounced back big time in the second half, over 70 rushing yards in the second half alone. Najee did good.
Calvin Austin.
Najee did good in the second half.
Calvin Austin balled. He had career highs. When we needed a receiver to step up because of the injury to Van Jefferson, this guy did. Huge shout out to Calvin Austin. Huge shout out to Scotty Miller for stepping up when we needed him to. Huge shout out to George Pickens. He had another great game today. Making plays down the field, right? I feel like he could have gotten a little more targets, especially in the red zone, but I'm sure that will come through time as the weeks go on. But so far, I'd say this was probably the best showing from the offense as a whole.
And it was led by Justin Fields. And again, he is your starting quarterback going forward.
Yes.
If Russ is healthy, you still go with Justin. Justin's done nothing to a point where you bench him. He's done everything that you asked him to do and just a little bit more. And I feel like week by week, he's doing a little bit more. And that's what you want to see from a guy like Justin Fields. That's why you traded for him.
Thank God. Thank God. Seeing what the alternative could have been.
Yeah.
But I can sense this offense improving week by week. There are some of last year's funk still there in terms of the play calling and them getting a little conservative.
That's what they still have to clean up. That's what they still have to work on, and I'm hoping they do.
But I sense as the weeks go on, and clearly as the game went on, they really started to progress. They started to go down the field more. They started to get points on the board consistently. 20 points today. Now, 20 points may not win the game against many other teams, but if the defense keeps doing what they were doing today, unbelievable.
Yeah, let's talk about the defense. That second half defense was on point because the Chargers had 10 points in the first half, and that secondary wasn't looking that great. You know, I felt like that they were leaving targets wide open. Quinion Johnson, Lam McConkey, I felt like they were getting some big gains on some catches thrown by Justin Herbert.
They played way too much zone in the first half. We're like, come on, get in their face, get up on them. We got to limit them from making plays, man. And that's exactly what they did, dude. The Chargers out-yardaged the Steelers in the first half by like 50, 60-something yards. The Chargers in the second half didn't even gain a single yard.
No.
They got -5 yards.
In the second half.
The Steelers' defense didn't have a single sack in the first half. They had 5 in the second half.
2 of them coming from Nick Herbig. He stepped in due to Alex Highsmith. He suffered a groin injury. I'm hoping it's not too severe, but Highsmith has been dealing with that over the past number of years in his career. But it's good to know that we have a guy that is more than capable of stepping in and starting, and that is Nick Herbig.
Nick Herbig had 3 sacks last year in limited playing time. Today, he had 2 against Rashawn Slater, a first-rounder. This guy needs playing time. This guy can easily be a starter. If Highsmith didn't have that big money contract, Nick Herbig would be a starter right now. And if he has to start throughout the season, if he has to start out as the weeks go on, I think everyone in Steelers Nation has their full trust in Nick Herbig. He is just so explosive, so quick off the edge. He has an arsenal of pass rush moves to get pressure, to get to the quarterback, and that he did.
Nobody can slow him down. Nobody can stop him. Nick Herbig knows how to use his size, and he indicated that against a guy like Rashawn Slater of all tackles.
And no one can slow down the guy opposite, TJ Watt.
Not even Joe Alt. Joel had a good first showing in the first half, but come the second half, I mean, Watt was like, enough's enough, rookie.
Yeah.
I'm about to show you, like, who I am, what I'm about, and welcome to the NFL. And that's what TJ Watt did.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
TJ Watt got another sack, third straight game with 1 sack. And Cam Hayward got a sack, which also now puts Cam Hayward second all-time in Steelers history with sacks.
Yes.
He passes James Harrison.
unbelievable.
Cam Hayward is number 2 officially.
Now, that was, I would give that a half a sack to Hayward and Watt because they were both in there. They might just credit Hayward with the full sack, but if they do ultimately split that sack between Hayward and Watt, that would put Watt at 100 career sacks, and that would put Hayward right above James Harrison for number 2 in Steelers history.
And gotta give the flowers to Atlanta Roberts too. He came away with a sack. He's still showcasing the type of free agent addition he was last offseason.
Dude, the Chargers had 173 yards in the first half. They finished with 168.
Yep.
The Steelers, I forget the number. I think it was around like 113 or something total yards. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they finished with 346.
Impressive.
And they had the similar amount of drives. Unbelievable.
And the time of possession, I mean, it was just lopsided in the second half. Steelers absolutely adjusted from what was I felt was a very conservative playing ability from both sides of the ball in the first half, but second half, like, they weren't messing around.
You know, people sometimes say that the Steelers are a second half team, and today proved it. They closed this out, man. They came into the second half wanting to execute.
And they needed to. They needed to adjust. They had to play better. They had to do better.
Almost every single drive the Steelers had ended in points. All but 2. One of them was an interception. One of them was kneeing it at the 1-yard line. I can't hate on them. The only negative I'll give the offense is they could have had more points. I hate that they are leaving points off the board, but they are putting points on the board and they are scoring. I will give them that. And I sense this offense really starting to improve from every area, from the line, from the passing game, from the targets getting involved and making plays, to Justin Fields. Week by week by week, he is showing you why he should be the starter, why he should lead this team. Justin Fields is the starter. No one else is.
Nobody else.
Justin Fields is the starter until proven otherwise. He's the guy to go with. What a second half. They just gotta improve on some of the minor mistakes, which is the play calling, which is finishing drives. Shout out to the Hawk with a 5, man.
Super chat's coming in, man.
You guys are great. Thank you, guys. Says with a 5, the 2024 offseason may go down as the best offseason in Steelers history. We have a legit team. That's the sense I'm getting, man. The defense 100% is legit. We have the depth. We have the playmakers. We have the starters.
Speaking about the defense again, because one of our keys of victory was slowing down J.K. Dobbins.
Yes.
Boy, did they do more than that. They absolutely stopped J.K. J.K. finished the game with 15 carries, only 44 yards. That is an average of 2.9 yards per carry.
After averaging 9.9 coming into this game.
He led the league in rushing coming into this game. He didn't even have 45. Absolutely impressive by the rush defense.
They eliminated J.K., dude. And they forced the game into Herbert and then eventually Heineke's hands. And they got to the quarterback.
Defense is legit.
Perfect game plan from the defense. Perfect game plan. Perfect. They cleaned up on the soft zone. They cleaned up on the poor coverage in the first half. And they didn't allow anything to happen in the second half. They didn't allow the Chargers to get anything going. And then the Steelers offense, they got points on the board. They kept it out of reach.
And they ultimately closed it out with that Calvin Austin 55-yard touchdown, and that changed the momentum completely.
A great second half adjustment by the Steelers team in all aspects. Huge positive on that, and I give them a lot of credit for getting them to 3-0. Steelers are 3-0, and we head into the Colts next week, who are slowly about to beat the Bears. So that's great that we have that. We have that momentum. We have that boost. We have that confidence heading into a big game versus the Colts. And the Steelers and Colts have a lot of history. Typically, the Steelers have the Colts number, but lately the Colts, I think last year the Colts beat us. So, and that was without Anthony Richardson. So the fact that they have this level of momentum, this level of build going on, they're adjusting, they're improving week by week is a good thing. I love that. Shout out to the Steelers for closing this out. 20-10. Steelers go 3-0. How you guys feeling, man? They go 3-0. They got to clean up on some of the mistakes on the offensive side of the ball. But otherwise, what they did in the second half, more of that, please. More of this, more of that. And once we get Roman Wilson involved in the offense and see what he can do, It's going to be unbelievable. It really is, man. I get a sense that this offense is really starting to find a grasp. They just got to get their head out of the ass in some aspects, but more the second half stuff.
Just clean up the small, minor mistakes, the small, minor details, work on that. And what we've seen in the second half, yes, more of that, please.
Yes.
You do that, that is a true recipe for success.
Unbelievable, man.
3-0 start. Hell of a job by the Steelers team. Hell of a job by Justin Fields. Let's fucking go.
Let's go, man. We are 2-0. Oh, 3-0. We're 3-0, and now we got the Chargers, man. Oh, no, now we got the Colts. We got the Colts coming up, man. Let us know your guys' thoughts down below. How do you guys feel about this offense? How do you guys feel about this dub? Shout out to Electric Visuals with 199, man. Says with a 199, Herbig over Highsmith, he wrecks the game more. He's more consistent. 100%. 100%. If Highsmith didn't have that big contract, Herbig would be the starter. 100%. It really would be. I say that with all the confidence in the world. They both need playing time, man. And if Herbig can step up, if he has to continue to start, we got no issues there. But I'd say the three players of the game, Herbig, Fields, and Calvin Austin, they all stepped up massively. Huge shout out to the young guys. That's awesome, man. Let us know your guys' thoughts. How you guys feel about this win? How you guys feel about Justin Fields? Let us know your guys' thoughts, man. Thank you guys for watching. Here we go, Steelers. 3-0, man.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace.